What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Tyson, the Gypsy King Fury. Tyson Fury had some choice words to say about Mark Breland, which is the trainer of Deontay Wilder, and he had this to say about him. He said he, which is Deontay Wilder, would have been retired from boxing. Tyson Fury goes in depth. He says that as soon as the referee stopped the fight, Deontay Wilder asked, "Why did you do that?" Right? Like he was surprised that he stopped it. But nevertheless, he later admitted that Mark did the correct thing according to the position he holds. Okay? He also confirms that he would have Mark in his corner yet again whenever the conclusion to the Wilder-Fury trilogy takes place. Fury believes that if it wasn't for Mark in Wilder's corner, there wouldn't have been a third fight. In an interview, Tyson Fury said this. He said, "I think that Mark Breland, never mind sack him or slag him, I think they need to give him a pay raise. Because without Mark Breland, there wouldn't have been a third fight. He would have been retired from boxing." Wow. Now, I've been telling people this for the longest, okay? And it's good that other people recognize this, including Tyson Fury. Deontay Wilder, he took a lot of punishment. He was cut, he was bleeding in multiple areas of his face, right? Face, head, he was bleeding out of his ears, bleeding out of his mouth. I'm not sure if he was bleeding out his nose, but he was bleeding in several places in his body, and he was all over the place. And in fact, a lot of times, Wilder, he hit the ground, about 4 or 5 times. He was knocked down twice, but because of the condition of his legs or equilibrium or whatever, balance, he fell, 2 or 3 times, after that, okay, just due to just collapsing. So, if you seen a guy falling over like that, how could a guy have enough strength to muster up the knockout power that he normally has or he normally possesses that could benefit him in that on that night? Okay, because we can only talk about on that night. Forget the day after, forget the day before. That night, what could he really do? Mark Breland saw that. Mark Breland saw, well, there's nothing this guy has to offer. We've been over that a lot of times. But it just goes to show you that Tyson Fury, could also see that, hey, if it wasn't for this guy, we wouldn't have had a third fight because JD's wanted that fight to continue. Okay? Now, I know Deontay Wilder's a proud man, very proud man, okay? Has a big ego. He still has confidence. He appears to still have a lot of confidence, okay? So a lot of things you won't see him or hear him admit, okay? But in this article, I was surprised to see him saying he later admitted that Mark Breland did the correct thing. Mark Breland did exactly what he's supposed to do. Okay? And let me counterpunch something, people. I want you to realize this. The position that he holds or he held, he had every right to stop that fight, not JD's. And I had a suspicion that JD's, you can't be a head trainer and a manager at the same time. You know what I mean? And if that's the case, why is Mark Breland there? Mark Breland's there because Mark Breland was the guy that actually was that, he was that go-to guy. That's why he felt that he could have done it, even when Mark was like, "Hey man, should I do this?" And then JD said that no, don't throw the towel in, but he did it anyway. You know what I'm saying? So you got to think about it. So if JD's was the head trainer, couldn't JD's fire Mark Breland? Think about that. Let's look at it this way. You guys remember when Freddie Roach, when Freddie Roach used to train, which he still trains Manny Pacquiao. But he trained Manny Pacquiao as the head guy, as the head trainer. And then he had Michael Moore in there, right? And then him and Michael Moore fell out. Michael Moore had to go. Alex Ariza, right? And Alex Ariza was making them special shakes for Manny Pacquiao, and they got into it. But guess who left? Alex Ariza, okay? And I'm pretty sure he had counsel with Manny, but ultimately he called shots. So if JD's was that head trainer like they claim, he wouldn't have been able to. He would have been able to get Mark Breland out of there. You know, I know Deontay has a say, and I'm not saying he doesn't. But what I'm saying is, if it was that bad, I feel that he would have had more of a saying that, hey, Mark Breland got to go. Because I didn't want that to happen. I didn't want Mark Breland to happen. But it's a good thing that Deontay admitted that Mark Breland did the right thing. And see, if he did such a terrible thing, or if it was sabotage, or it was something that somebody paid Mark Breland to do or something like that, he wouldn't have him back in the corner for the trilogy fight. Mark Breland's coming back. So that tells you everything you need to know. If he did that work, that bad of a job, he wouldn't have not been invited back to the corner of Deontay Wilder. They would have had somebody else in there. Okay? So let's just call it the way it is. And then having a man getting beat like that when he doesn't have his legs under him, that's not cool. You know what I mean? There's nothing cool about taking punishment. And I respect what Deontay Wilder said, because he said a lot of foul stuff about wanting bodies in the ring. And hey, if I could take a body, or if I'm willing to take a body, I should be willing to die. I get that. I respect that. But at the same time, fuck that. You know what I mean? You don't want that to happen. You know what I mean? You shouldn't want to kill anybody. You sure shit wouldn't want anybody to kill you. You know? I mean, that's just crazy thinking if you got 7, 8 kids. That don't even make sense. You know? Hell, Apollo had 2. And Apollo's a fictional character. This is real life. So Mark Breland did do the right thing. And I do think that Mark Breland needs to be... he needs a pat on the back. I don't know about a raise, because I'm pretty sure that he gets paid pretty good. But, you know, he should be acknowledged for what he did. But I think I've done enough of that on this channel to acknowledge Mark Breland for the role that he took, for the decision that he made on that night. You know, so, and who's to know, if that fight would have went on and he'd have just said, you know, hey, screw it, let that fight go on, it probably would have ended in something. Either Tyson Fury would have just beat him to the point where he just couldn't stand up and just got pointed out, which would have been very embarrassing. Let's just be real. I mean, you got somebody already fumbling all over the place like a newborn deer on ice and shit. You know what I'm saying? That wouldn't have been cool. You know, but Kenny Bayless he already said that I would have stopped that fight anyway. I would have done it later on. So hopefully that wouldn't have been too much damage that was inflicted after that point, you know. So, but it was coming. It was coming because if you notice, Wilder did throw a left hook. He did throw a left hook. And in his defense, he threw a left hook back. So, you know how the referee says, hey, show me something. You know, but he threw a left hook. But he had already took about maybe 3 to 4 solid punches out of the 5 or 6 that Fury were throwing, you know. So, but I think that he would have came back in because he started to do a little hop and a step. So you would take a little quick step back and throw 5 or 6, okay? And you're dealing with a guy that's timing's off, his balance off, his equilibrium's off. Let's pack it up and save it for another day. And ultimately, we got that other day. We got another date, or whenever the date's going to be, but that fight's going to happen. So Deontay Wilder has time to redeem himself, which is good, you know. You live to fight another day. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think about Tyson Fury's statements towards Mark Breland. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.